How are you doing with all of this isolation and then merging together, then more isolation? I guess every state is different, but here in Florida, they've become more relaxed about certain conditions. And now we all received messages in the news that there's a mandate again to wear masks anywhere in public. And this created a firestorm of opinions all throughout social media and throughout the news. And I was wondering what your state was doing and how you feel about it. On my neighborhood app today, the subject was on the issue of these masks being reintroduced as mandatory, and fines will come out if we are caught without these masks on. As I was scrolling down through the posts, it was pretty amazing how vitriolic it was getting. And even though we don't know each other through this comment section, we are all neighbors within a few miles of each other. And we seem to forget that when we're in the virtual world. And so some people were talking about the evidence that's out that it's protective and that it will stop the spread of COVID. And other people were saying that if people wear dirty masks, they could die and make it worse. And a lot of it was opinion-based, some of it was political, some of it was name-calling. It really brings up the knowledge that we have discovered in science, that there are these meta programs that runs the way a person thinks and sees the world. The meta programs that run through our minds are the way that we sort through information, and our minds distort, delete, and generalize information in order to be able to handle the mass amount of information that comes in to us all day long. So in general, these meta programs determine how we see things and actually how we experience things. They determine if something is a threat potentially or not, whether it's dull or really interesting. And we all obviously have our own set of meta programs that operate like a computer in our brain. All of our human behavior revolves around either gaining pleasure or staying away from pain. A typical example that probably all of us could agree on is that we gravitate towards a beautiful sunset, and we do the opposite when it comes to touching a hot stove. We're moving away from the pain in that instance. There's other less obvious things, like some person might want to walk to work because they enjoy being outside, but another person chooses to walk to work because they have this horrible fear about getting into a car accident. I wanted to talk to y'all about this because communication is so huge, and how we speak to others and how we treat others can really affect in a huge way the response that we get. Do we want to be right, or do we want to be understood? Do we want to be right all the time, or do we want to be happy? How far are we going to let our ego in the way to prove another person wrong? And going back to my example of this thread about whether we should be wearing a mask or not, one person that made the most sense to me said, "Look guys, all of you are making valid points, and you can find research on both of these depending on where you're choosing to look. But the bottom line is it's a mandate, and you're going to get fined if you don't wear the mask." And that's what made the most sense to me, because if you want to be wise about any situation, the easiest way to do it is to see something exactly as it is. All I know is I know but a little, and I don't know what I don't know. And thank you to all of you that are being empowering. And no matter what side of the aisle information is coming from you that can help me to understand. And I love to hear all of the different points of view of who we all are, because like it or not, we're all in this together. Compassion goes a really long way. Peace out. Talk to you soon. Bye for now.